Ellis,
Here.
Christina Belanger,
Here.
Mary Franklin,
Here.
Marjorie Lawler,
Here.
Janelle Mateer. She's gonna be late.
Yes, she'll be late.
Dr. James Webb,
Here.
Dr. Dale Wetzel,
Here.
and Victoria Zingler.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States
and the republic for which it stands,
and
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Every meeting.
There are some changes to the agenda. Items 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4 are removed from the agenda. So anything relating to facilities and equity, the superintendent will include it in the coronavirus report. So that's the agenda with those items removed. So we'll have a motion in the second to approve the agenda.
Victoria makes a motion.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? That's passed. We have the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 12th for your consideration. Motion and second.
Seconded by Ashton.
Okay. Any questions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. Our recognition will take place at a later meeting. For myself, I have to say, looking at what has happened in the last several days here by our staffs, we can be mighty proud of all of this. Okay. And I was reminded first about what is going on both in our city, our county, our state, our nation. I thought back to what Thomas Paine said, that this is the time that tries men's souls. It's almost like a war footing here, okay? I was around in World War II, but a little after that to recognize what went on. But what is going on here in terms of all of the things around us don't even equal what went on in World War II in the same places we're looking at today. So we have these huge challenges to be addressed. But I know that we are going to do our best, and so far we have just made a great thing out of this. We've done what probably no other school district could have done in the way that we've done it, and in the time that we have done it. So I still will rely on Winston Churchill's speech. This was their finest hour, and I think this is going to be our finest hour. So thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, Superintendent?
I'll save mine for coronavirus report.
Okay. Any board member comments?
This is Kevin Ashton. I just want to echo what you said and just thank the entire district for all the tremendous work that's been going on. Everyone has been performing just amazingly in the situation. And even today, like with pickup at the elementary school, everything was extremely smooth and no issues at all. So thank you to everyone.
Thanks.
Anyone else? We have no outside visitors. Anybody here want to say anything? Okay.
Jim's son still there?
Yes.
Do you have any comments?
Not really.
Okay, we have the authorization of funds to implement special ed programs and services consistent with recommendations from CSE meetings of February 7th through March 12th.
Webb moves.
Second, Franklin.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Michael.
Okay, so I've been superintendent here for 13 years, and most of this team has experienced closing schools, environmental issues at the high school, $10.4 million, $10.6 million budget deficits, court challenges that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and I had thought I had seen it all, or that I wouldn't see any more. This is beyond anything that any of us could have imagined. But I stand here today, I think we feel very galvanized because our planning has worked and the staff has energized us. I have to say to the board, we feel like we have an army of 1,000 behind us right now. And the energy and the response of the staff, and this is, I'm talking teachers, teaching assistants, support staff, through the entire ranks, the admin team. Everyone has come into this now with the attitude of how can I help? And that's the constant focus. It feels like everybody I come in contact with, how can I help? And the work is endless. We had a number of people at the buildings today. Kevin mentioned the packet pickup. Watching that play out in our schools, the level of planning it took just to do that part was unbelievable, and it was very smooth. And you know, the feedback from parents was very positive. I think it helped our administrative team to see so many people come in and get the packets, because there was such a fear that people would not come in. And really, you know, the planning has been really top notch from the beginning. I want to thank this team here. As I've been referred I probably have heard 75 times in the last, I don't know, day and a half. You're now referred to as the Core Six. I've had many people say that to me because of the video. You know, these guys, listen, as a team, everybody plays a role. And if one person doesn't fulfill their role, something falls apart. And in this case, I mean, it was 100% effort, 100% execution. I think the challenge we have here is we have a plan to get to April 14th. I think the question is what happens if we're not back April 14th? And, you know, I have serious concerns about whether we're actually going to be back or not. We're going to begin planning next week for an extended period of time off. When you hear things from the CDC about crowd sizes being limited the next 8 weeks, I heard just before I came in here that New York City was going to go into voluntary isolate or quarantine. What's the word?
Shelter in place.
Shelter in place. Thanks. I'm tired. Within 48 hours. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. And, you know, we don't know how long it's going to last. And, you know, fortunately, we got some relief. You know, that state memo I sent you on Friday, this is actually part of it, that you could do board members, there are board meetings this way as long as they were recorded. But we also got some good news in terms of kids. You know, state ed is waiving, excuse me, some of the seat time requirements, the science lab requirement. I will have the ability to allow kids to take the science exams. So things are moving. At times they're not moving quickly enough at the higher levels of government, but my big concern right now are my kids. These 4,680 kids that we have, and I'm hearing from them, some of these folks live with them. This is very odd for the students. As I had a student write me, I've heard from a lot of high school students who I can tell are terrified, particularly juniors and seniors, asking about credit requirements. How am I going to ever pass the Regents exam? I'm a kid that needs extra help. I had a student today contact me about his tech project, terrified that he wasn't going to be able to finish his tech project and it would kill his grade. Another student who wrote me who said, I'm doing better in school than I ever have. How's this going to work out in the end? I mean, you can feel the anxiety in the kids. This is half of a summer vacation. We need to think of it that way. And I don't know. I don't know when we're coming back, but I think we've done a good job as a district in terms of developing a plan, executing a plan, and communicating that plan. What I thought I would do is I've created a document that when people say, okay, what have you done? I've tried to fit everything on one page. And Kelly, can you pull up that document? Problem is, this is only to April 14th, and we're already taking up one whole page. So we go longer. Does James have a copy of this?
Is James there?
Yep. Right back in his corner.
I'm always here.
Hi, James.
Back there.
So what we did was we took every aspect of the planning in this, and I asked this team for some bullet points. What are some high-level things that we've done to date that if us or a board member or a random employee wanted to be able to describe what we've done, how could we best communicate that? And it's really all here on this sheet. It details a lot of work, a lot of planning. As I told the board and many others, we actually really started laying the groundwork for this about 4 weeks ago. Jeff had done some work with the safety committee. We were talking behind the scenes. We met as a team, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago to talk about the skeleton of or outline of what an instructional plan could look like. Because I think one is naive if they're not looking at what's happening in Italy, France, Spain, and previously in China. So here we are, and that was time well spent. I feel like we're well positioned for now. But, you know, I have people asking me what happens if this goes into May or June, and we don't know. We don't know. But anyway, this is for you folks, a one-pager that really describes some high-level things that we've done. I want to point out some of the items at the bottom, though, that still need to be, that we need to talk about. First of all, the governor came out yesterday with a new executive order which supersedes the order from last Friday that has led to a great deal of confusion. You recall on Friday, he passed an executive order that said schools could close if a county declared a state of emergency. So as you know, our county declared a state of emergency on 1 o'clock last Saturday. And in doing that, we were forgiven with the 180-day requirement. Well, he came out yesterday and said that he was closing schools for 2 weeks and that his executive order went through April 1st and that he would determine when schools are back in session. Along with that, we have to provide an instructional plan to the state as to how we're meeting those needs, a food plan, and what was buried in the legislation, that schools have been identified to provide daycare for children of medical personnel and EMTs. And we don't know what that'll look like because there's no guidance or information out there. So there's a lot more to do. I will be bringing you this year's calendar for a revision because we have to take a look at the days. We had May 12th as a day off. I know that's gone, or not May 22nd, right before Memorial Day. That'll be taken back, so that'll no longer be a day off. Once I get my wits about me tomorrow, Karen and I are going to sit down and look at the calendar. We may have to rethink April 13th versus April 14th as the start date for the kids to come back to school. And, you know, there's obviously going to be more to come here. You know, I've got a lot of kids asking me about making up time. I've got parents asking me about making up time. And so we're going to start having conversations about what that could look like if we did come back April 14th or if we came back May 15th. You know, we're trying to stay ahead of it as best we can, but, you know, there's curveballs being thrown our way. So that's it. I couldn't ask for more from my people. The staff and these guys have been outstanding. It's awe-inspiring, it really is, the amount of work. I don't think Carrie and Michelle and Jen have gone home since Saturday.
So isn't the work that was sent home, doesn't that count as instruction? I'm trying to understand the need for makeup time.
Oh, no, we think that's why they're looking for everyone's instructional plan.
So that
They
they kind of,
haven't committed to that yet.
okay. So you're saying they might come out and say that some amount of the time has to be made up?
They could,
Okay,
at least after April 1st. If the governor comes back and elects to open schools on April 1st, then, which we know isn't going to happen. But what it is if you are out after the time where he says schools are open, the 180-day forgiveness does not apply. Right now, my main focus is this daycare thing. I want to understand more about that. That has more impact potentially on us than the other thing. We'll figure out the calendar and the days. I'm concerned about the daycare piece.
well, I heard on another meeting today that there's a lot of mixed messages and conflicting communications coming from state agencies. And someone is talking about pop-up, like drop-in daycares on site at hospitals.
Really?
For healthcare workers, and nobody knows what that's supposed to look like being delivered by, people who aren't childcare professionals.
Interesting. So it's a very similar experience to what we're having.
Mm-hmm.
What you have to understand is we're looking to move the whole operation offline. I mean, this includes business services. Like Paul and I have had a conversation about paying bills and doing payroll in the event that we are, we can't be here. So this is trickier than we're literally trying. We could potentially have to move the whole thing offline for a while. So that's it. If you have any questions, you know where I am. God knows everybody else is asking me questions. I'm answering all of them.
Well, it's very overwhelming, and it's certainly incredibly challenging. I don't know how you guys have done it. I saw a little piece of it yesterday being in the building. I walked into the conference room where you are now and saw the tables that were set up that really just addressed distributing the copies that were made. And just that setup to me looked like hours of work and communication and just setting that up. And then it got flipped and changed real quick because we didn't have the kids in today to get them, and we changed that very quickly. So for someone, I mean, I get the part about everybody offering to help because I've been trying to do that, but nobody wants me. Me too. But I totally understand. It's easier to just do it and get it done than to try to teach someone to do it. And I mean, I just want you all to understand that we know how much you're doing and how much effort you put forth and what it has taken to just get where we are now, and it can change before we end this meeting.
Anyone else? I think we should be rather circumspect up front about this, because if you look at from epidemiologically, if you look at all of these incidents in 5 countries, at the time that it started to the time that they were over the top and falling down on the curve is roughly 3 to 4 months. In other words, they don't start from that maximum on down until somewhere near the end of the 3rd month. And that is assuming all of the kinds of actions that they took then. I don't know if the actions that we're taking will possibly compress that curve a little, don't know. But I wouldn't put a lot of stock into April 12th.
No.
Just as a comment.
I told teachers that. Yeah. I don't think we're coming back then.
And I think the work that this, as far as closing and social distancing and everything, the goal of that is actually to extend that curve so that it takes longer, but it doesn't spike as high, right, to overwhelm the medical resources. So I actually expect it to take longer than some other areas where they didn't respond like this as quickly.
Mhm. Okay, let's move on. Any questions on the written reports?
No questions for me.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
Alrighty.
good, thank you.
Okay, we have personnel items, we have resignations and appointments as recommended by the superintendent and changes of assignment. Motion and a second.
Webb moves.
Seconded.
Franklin.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. We have the recommendation for tenure for Brittany Wheeler and Mary Jane Kirk as listed. Motion and
Victoria
second.
moves.
Second, Lawler.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. We have 10 items on the consent agenda. Any to be removed for further discussion? Not hearing any. Motion and a second, please.
Motion Franklin.
Second, Webb.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? We have a certificate of substantial completion for HVAC as listed with Kimball Incorporated.
Webb moves.
Franklin seconds.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Okay, we have the recommendation for a bond resolution for the purchase of school buses and vehicles not to exceed $612,000. So this would appear during the vote on the budget.
Webb
Ziegler
moves.
moves.
Franklin
Need a
seconds.
Motion and second. Any questions? So this is part of our plan, right?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a resolution to include a bond proposition at the annual district meeting and election, which you just approved.
Webb moves.
Seconded,
Second.
Ashton.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passed. We have the internal auditors 2019-2020 internal audit risk assessment update report.
Moved by Ziegler.
Second by Franklin.
Okay, moved and second to accept the resolution as listed. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we need to have the setting of the school registration day.
Webb moves.
Second, Lawler.
Okay, it's been moved and second, and that day is May 5th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we need to set the school district public hearing on the budget.
Webb moves.
Franklin seconds.
Moved and seconded, so this will occur on May 12th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Just make
Those
a comment.
opposed? Yes, you can make a comment.
Just as we're looking to, hopefully this doesn't go out into May, but at what point do these two things interact? Our annual vote interact with some of the our actions in terms of dealing with the virus. So I don't think there's anything for us to do, but just a point of note that we could be in an interesting territory here.
We can't change anything unless the state says we can. And if it's a constitutional issue, I don't think the state can say, no, we can't do it. So we'll see. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we now have to set the school district election and budget vote. That'll be on May 19th of this year. Motion and second.
Motion Franklin.
Seconded, Ashton.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Last item, election inspectors for the annual election and budget vote.
Moved,
Motion and
Franklin.
second. Second, I need a second.
Second, Webb.
Second, Lawler.
Second, so it's moved and seconded. Any last questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Final opportunity for board member comments.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to Mike and the Core Six. Hopefully you're able to at least get some downtime to get some rest, but also we recognize that your nature is to not do that. And
We need you to take care of yourself.
Please.
I don't think we're gonna have a choice. I think we've all admitted to each other, we're at the end of the line. Running out of gas.
Yeah.
But thank you.
So
Can only
just the
sprint
fact
for
that
so
you
long.
admit that- Just the fact that you admit you're running out of gas is the only time I've ever heard that before from any of you. So that speaks volumes about what you've been doing the last few days.
Yeah, Carrie and I had a conversation today and we just kind of looked at each other and said, I'm done. You just get to the point, it's just been so intense. But thank you. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, you all did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Couldn't be more proud to be a part of this organization. So thank you for allowing me to contribute in any way that I can. It's quite a partnership we have going here.
Any visitor comments? You sure you don't want to make any comments? Any future agenda items? Not desired at this time. Anybody need any information about something? Motion to adjourn.
I do have just, maybe this is a quick request.
Motion to adjourn.
What? Do we,
So
I think we
moved
did.
by Victoria.
our spacing between meetings, what's our next meeting?
Uh-oh. Ask someone to give you
Uh,
that.
First one to thumbs up.
Uh-oh.
One more.
What?
Wait, what?
Whoa, we get the second one? We need one more.
They
more.
lost their audio.
second.
They lost their audio. They're looking for
James,
motions.
don't write this, please.
Second, I can second the
This is
adjournment.
the first time.
Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Good.
Okay. Unanimous. Fill in the names.
Mike Simmons did it.
Are we all on or not?
I don't know.
They can't hear us.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you guys.
I can hear you.
We're having
They
our
can't hear us.
now.
They can't hear
Board
us.
President
Right.
Byron.
Oh, now you're on. You just adjourned.
No, we can
We
hear
are
you the
good.
whole time. We can hear each other.